Hi Tom, how are you doing today?
Very good, thank you. Justine, how are you?
I'm good as well, yes, and quite excited to record this podcast about Viva Insights.
It's the very first podcast on Viva Insights here in our Xylus studio. Very nice.
Yes.
Looking forward to it.
Yes, indeed. Maybe we dive into the topic. Maybe we could present ourselves a little.
Yeah.
What about you, Tom?
Well, I'm Tom Ezewijn. I'm the team lead of the Learning Digital department. And in fact, in our department, Viva is a very huge topic. We have a lot of consultants working on the topic. And you're a team member of my team, actually.
Yes, indeed. So I'm Justine Maurice. I'm working as a change consultant. And so bringing new things into organization, like for instance Viva Insight, is part of my job, and making sure that a transition to a transformed organization happens as smooth as possible for end users.
Indeed. So we are doing a lot of workshops lately at our customers. So if somebody who's watching this video is being inspired in what we are telling about Viva, and you're interested in such a workshop, we can look into it, and we just contact us and we can see what we can do for your organization, and just have a small conversation on what Viva could mean for your organization. All right, today first session is on meeting culture.
Indeed, yes.
All right, maybe let's start discussing first, what exactly do you understand, what is a meeting culture?
Well, meeting culture is something you cannot define as something universal, let's say, universal. It's more something that will live within each organization. Each organization has its own meeting culture. And depending on how you apply it, it can have positive effects and really bring business outcomes, but it could also have negative effects.
And what are those?
Well, you could have a meeting burden. Let's say people who jump from one meeting to another whole day long and don't have time to actually perform work.
Yeah, those annoying back-to-back meetings all the time. Yeah,
exactly.
I recognize that.
You could also have people who have too many meetings, and it makes that they have also meetings outside their working hours, having an impact on their personal lives.
Yeah.
It could also have that you have just recurring meetings who are not actually bringing that much value. So depending on how your meeting culture is, you may have negative effects linked to it.
Yeah, that's true. It's and there are some red flags that you can point out in meeting culture, like as you were saying, recurrent meetings. Those are a big red flag. Sometimes it's necessary to have them, but sometimes they still continue to happen, and they're not that useful. Secondly is meetings that take a lot of time. For some reason, everybody thinks that a meeting should last for at least 60 minutes. Every time we plan a meeting, it's 1 hour. You can't do otherwise, so it seems. And then another thing is meetings with a lot of people in it. Those are not really the most productive kind of meetings. And it's very hard, so you can feel the negative effects of a meeting culture. Not having the focus time or working outside working hours to have that focus time available to you. But what can you do? It's very hard to know, okay, when should I be worrying? When is the meeting culture being too negative, or when does it have, when is the impact on my day-to-day work? When is it too big?
Yeah, well, that's what Viva Insight could tell you, actually. Viva Insights is going to look a bit at what are the meetings patterns, let's say. And it's an incredible source of data for you to look at what is the meeting culture. Of course, you can sense it. You know what are the behaviors of people, but concretely based on figures, knowing what is the meeting culture and what is the impact of it, Viva Insights can help you with that.
All right. I tend to find it a little bit confusing because I already get emails from Viva Insights every day. I get a very nice email telling me, okay, maybe this document you were referring to a customer, did you follow up on that? You were promising that you would send out an email in 3 days. Did you do that? It's brilliant, but that's not exactly what you're telling me. It doesn't give me insights on my meeting culture. It's more insights that are personal to me.
Indeed. And Viva Insight is actually made of different components.
Okay.
So you have a Viva Insight version that's personal only for you. You will also find it back into Teams. You have this Viva Insight app in Teams where you can find different things on top of what you just mentioned, the debriefing emails. But you also have other components. You have components that are also just meant for managers. So when you have a team of a certain size, you can also see a bit how you could help your team further, improving the meeting culture or helping your team disconnect from work, knowing that hybrid modes are not only easy to deal with. So those types of recommendation for your team, you will find them as a manager into Viva Insights. You also have a component that's more for organizational leaders to also provide recommendation to kind of help your organization improve the meeting culture, for instance. And you have this component for analysts and for also organizational leaders, where you can actually have detailed queries and reports. You also have, let's say, out-of-the-box reports, so reports that Microsoft would provide based on the data of your organization. It's very powerful. You could also mix data from Microsoft with non-Microsoft data. Let's say you would have
a survey, for example?
A survey, typically a satisfaction survey from your employees could be something you would cross with Microsoft data to get very valuable insights.
Oh, and all of that data would pop up in the very same reports that you see.
Yes, you could.
Integrated in Teams. So if I understand correctly, if I get insights that are limited to my personal point of view, that is for free, that I receive from
by default, exactly.
By default. Yep. And if I extend that, if I want to extend that insight, if I want to have more information on my team or on my organization, that is something that I have to pay for. That is something that is a license that I should acquire.
Exactly.
All right, that's good. Thank you. All right, and tell me more about if I get that data and it can be visualized to me, what is my meeting culture? Is there also the next step? Because I'm getting a clear view on my meeting culture in my organization. Next step is that I want to do something. I want to act. How can I do that?
Yes, indeed. Viva Insight is the tool that's going to support your transition to a better meeting culture, but it's not going to make it for you.
No.
So it's the data you will rely on. From this data, what can you do? Well, you may have data according to department of parts of your organization. It can be interesting there to check what are the high-performing teams, for instance, and check, okay, what is the meeting behavior they have within that specific team, and try then to replicate, and from there, try to identify the behavior you want to see at organizational level. And once you have those behaviors, you can then act. You can tell the people within your organization what are the behaviors they are expected to have, how they should behave qua meeting cultures, regarding the meeting culture. So that's the next step. Actually, the Viva Insight is the data you will rely on, but then you can act, and that's a whole process that you can start from there. First, raising awareness amongst the organization about what is the meeting culture you expect, and also why actually you want to change the meeting culture.
Yeah, I think awareness is very, very important. It's crucial to start acting, because a lot of people in organizations, they don't really know what is happening, because you're in the middle of what is happening. So yeah, that's good. Yeah, good. Is there anything else what we can do as a next step?
Well, once people know the what and the why, it's important they also have a trigger to change their behavior. Yeah. They need what we call the desire to change. Yeah. And this desire may be very personal, may be communicated by the team leaders who know the specific situation of his or her team members. And this may be, by having less meeting, because you will be more organized and have them more efficiently, you will gain time, and actually your outside collaboration hours will probably reduce, giving you more, work-life balance and giving you more time for self-development, for learning. So there are lots of benefits that you can actually for yourself retrieve from having a better meeting culture within the organization.
Of course, I totally agree. All right, so we have the A and the D.
Yeah,
are there the other phases as well?
Well, the next step would then be to learn what are those behaviors you have told people, but it's not because you tell, well, we should have a better meeting culture, that people will know what exactly they need to know. So here you must kind of train them, or at least lead by example here would be very important. But people need to see, to have examples. And so having a critical mass, let's say trained for this would be important.
Yeah, and there the Office 365 platform as a whole comes in, because if you want to get those meetings more efficient, you can train people on, okay, how can I prepare for a meeting using OneNote, for example? How can I share the topics that we will discuss during the meeting? Also, we can have, during the meeting, we can have a planner helping us to get a task list for everybody to follow up, to make sure that the next meeting we can just shortly discuss, okay, what's the progress that we made as a team? So there's a lot of tools that can help you, and then we can assist the organization in how can we get those meetings more efficient.
Exactly. That's really the expertise of our colleagues, making meetings from many other things effective for people. Well, Viva Insight can also help you in getting people trained, or at least having ideas for people to work on their meeting culture. Viva Insight is actually going to provide you recommendations, like don't forget to set an agenda ahead of the meeting, or plan maybe meetings that are not 1 hour long, as you said.
I've seen those, a little message popping up, maybe you can have this meeting in 45 minutes.
Exactly. Yes.
That's brilliant, because I didn't think about it.
And there are also things that you could actually implement for the entire company. So those are called plans. Actually, plans are things that you are going to set up really at company level. So what could that be? For instance, it could be that you decide to have a no meeting day. So let's say every Wednesday there would be no meeting.
Brilliant.
Giving time to people to focus on what matters. But you could also have that focus time is automatically booked into people's agendas. So making sure that every day they have time to 3-day email, work on things they need to provide. So all these kind of things can also be done using Viva Insights.
And I imagine that it would be feasible to tailor your plans based on the data that you get from your organization. That you can say, okay, when focus time is reduced to X% of time, then send out automatic plans and actions to guide the people to do otherwise.
Yeah.
Oh, great. Right, that works. All right. I think it's a brilliant tool, and I think you can, as an organization, set a very clear business case where you can state, okay, I'm feeling like I would like to offer my team, like this year we can have a reduction of X% of meetings, or I can clear out a number for my organization. Let's focus on giving 10,000 hours of meetings back to the business. If you calculate the sum that would be invested in less efficient meetings, I think the budget will be much higher than what you invest in Viva, actually. Exactly. So the return of investment is pretty high. I'm totally fan. All right. Are there any other ideas that you want to share with us?
Well, I think it's a change. Changing of meeting culture is something that people will not kind of apply from one day to another. No. So you need to give them a bit of time. You also need the leaders and the sponsors of this really walking the talk and as I said before, leading by examples. If your manager is never going to update the agenda before the meeting, if it's not applying all the good practices that were shared with the workers, it's probably not going to happen. So it's important that it's really something that lives within the organization as a whole, and not just by certain individual within it. So that's important according to me. But then let's just make it happen. It's possible, and Viva Insight is also there to, once you have made all those steps and once you have tried to make the change happen, it's quite easy to just come back to the data, to Viva Insights, and actually see, has it happened like I had initially foreseen, or are there still things that need to be done, or things that are still actionable? So kind of Viva Insight is the source from where you will start, but it's also kind of the end point where you will end checking concretely what has happened within my organization. As you said, for instance, have I spare all those 100,000 of hours of meetings, for instance?
Great. All right. I have one final question for you. What do you think? Why do you think people are watching this video cast? Why should they ask Xylus to be a partner in Viva Insights?
Well, we have had already clients where we have done the workshops, where we have tried to create more awareness about Viva Insights and help them in really using it for concrete business case, as you said. But also because we have a mix of expertise, like within our team, I'm change consultant, so I'm more focused into, let's say, there is a change and how will we make it happen. So in combination with Viva Insight, this is a good mix. But we also have colleagues who are more, where the expertise is more into the tools, really how performing better with the tools, the collaboration tools we have. So this mix of expertise is really essential, according to me. And we also have more technical minded, let's say, colleagues, where the expertise is more into the implementation of such a tool, also in reportings and how making those queries that we can make in Viva Insight really relevant and appearing as something clear for the leadership. So we have a good mix of skills, I would say, within Xylus that would make us a great partner.
Great, nice. I'm totally up to it. Good. If you would be interested in Viva Insights or anything related to Viva, you can see how enthusiastic Justine is about this. Me as well, of course. Please reach out and check our website soon, because we will launch in the next few days. We will launch a reference case on the first client that has implemented Viva Insight and how they did it, and it's very nice. And no spoiler alert. We will communicate it later on the website, but please do check out. Thank you, Justine, for this nice conversation on Viva Insight, and let's talk again.
Yes, thank you, Tom. Bye.
Bye.